Shalom to you, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Shai, by Hashem HaKadosh, and giving double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who all peace and salutation to the elect. Shem Yahweh Mappa from the Great Millstone Plaintables camp located here in the city of Philadelphia. On another wee lesson. I had just did a lesson concerning Donald Trump revoking the visas of different foreign students that are taking up studies here at different universities within the United States, and changing their legal statuses and subjecting them to possible deportation and detainment. Now, I mentioned something concerning U.S. citizens and even them, being targeted as well. Because what you people don't understand is that we're coming with a draconian rulership, okay? And many of those different civil liberties that you thought you had, and you don't really have them. And now you're going to have the enforcement of what they have as the law, but it's going to be at a very, very draconian level. Okay, a level being draconian, being harsh and severe. Hey, even seeming as if they're micromanaging or nitpicking with you. Okay, and that comes with the end of time. Okay, with this fourth beast. Okay, so it tells you in Revelation chapter 13 and 12, or 11 I'll start. And it says, "And I beheld another beast, being America, coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Okay, and one of those horns there, of the two, representing the plebeians anciently, which are the fathers, the landowners, okay, the rich, okay, ruling families and such, okay, back in ancient Rome, okay, they were not as the patricians, pardon me if I don't mix that up. The patricians, okay, going back to those landowners, okay. Right, aristocrats, noblemen, right, coming from noble birth, great birth and such, family and money. Okay, they're a ruling class of families, different from your plebeians, which are like commoners, okay, which would be like your Democrats. Well, with this system, they like a lamb and semen, very, very, very innocent and harmless, and we're gonna come to help you. But now you see it, you speak as a dragon, being very savage, okay, and harsh, okay, from Dracon, okay. But you can go back to that Draco, that great Athenian ruler, has some very, very, very harsh rules, and that's what we're coming with. They deporting. You have it, or changing the, like I said, the legal statuses of somebody just for being anti-small hat, or allegedly protesting in support of their own people being persecuted, or being with the so-called Palestinians. Okay, you got people that are students, and they organize these different protests. Well, these protests, they're not in support of anymore, because Trump is of course for the small hats. All right, pro state of Israel. Okay, so it says in Revelation 13 and 12, "And he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth, and them that which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." All right, and you had the new uh, rebirth, or the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay, coming back through the Treaty of Rome, and you have the NATO and the EU. Okay, and they ruling. Okay, very savage. Okay, as a beast. Okay, that's being very harsh for the people. Okay, and especially with these rules. Okay, being brutal, a bestial man, savage. Okay, it's men that are ruling as the Edomites. Okay, with this system. Okay, because with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, hey, the 7 big governments are, hey, of Esau, Edom. You know, being the French, the Spanish, the British, the Romans, the Greeks, Germaner Major and Germaner Minor. Okay? And you have it to say this beast, alright, takes that that all power from the first beast, the ancient Roman Empire that was 2,000 years ago. And they have the image of that system, you know, with the Senate, and, you know, but this one being more diverse from all of the others, as you know, Daniel's the 2nd chapter will tell you, or the 7th chapter. I gotta go back into it. This is Daniel chapter 2 and 40. And then you have, I think, Daniel 7. Alright, Daniel chapter 7 and 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, being the Roman Empire, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Okay. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. All right, you know, with this new system, as you know, well, you have with this system that was diverse from the rest, you know, not being one of you know, with kings and that's in the traditional sense, and heirs to the thrones like that. You have a democracy, okay, a republic and such. All right, and you know, do his military might. You know, you seen how it be able to conquer the known world at that time, and you know, now to do rebirth, you know, has conquered and subdued this whole earth. You know, through America, you know, being that great whore, okay, that rideth that scarlet colored beast. You know, it's filled with many sins. All right, and these big you know, patricius, in the Latin, if I'm saying that right, you know, they moving, okay. They're moving, you know, with these Republicans, as they're giving you the illusion of it, because really it's the elite, you know, which they the ones who say that they have of a good birth, but really they're the Edomites, they're peasants and such. You know, it'll tell you this is Ecclesiastes. If I can get that one. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses, right, which would be the Edomites, okay, and princes walking as servants upon the earth, the Israelites, okay. And, you know, they in rulership, you know, hey, with so much great pride and such. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 10:5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler. And you see a lot of error and sin being proceeded from the Edomites. Okay? Shalayatan from Shalat. All right? Master, ruler. Shalayat, actually. Shalayat. All right? And proceeded is being going forth. So, you know, it's speaking as a dragon. You know, these different laws, they're definitely speaking at these times. So check this out right here with Donald Trump. And his various spokespeople, spokeswomen.
To follow up on immigration, deporting American citizens to Central American prisons. Is it legal, or do you need to change?
She can't even take this serious. She's smiling. The grin, the evil, wicked grin is coming at this chick's face. All right, press secretary. All right, Carolyn Leavitt. You know, just look at that. Look at these little grins and smile.
Is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into.
And they're doing whatever they want to do, whether it's law or not. Okay? Because we know Revelation 12:12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is the accuser, all right, which is Esau, all right, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, and again, hey, going into that wrath, okay, he has a anger, all right, forthwith boiled up and soon subsiding again. You know, you don't even know how Trump really feels at times, right? You know, it's like a pot. You know, it bubbles and it simmers down. But soon y'all just gonna see the pot. It's not even going to be on the eye anymore, okay? Or under the eye of the heat, you know? Hey, why? Because he ain't gonna have Chinese parts. That's a joke, but yeah, man. Inflame, right? Passion, which drives drinker mad or kills him with his strength. But the point is that he's breathing hard and he's coming with fierceness, indignation. He feels that, hey, righteously speaking, you criminals, which most of you Israelites, you have no right to be here. All right, and a lot of you bottom feeders, which he see you guys as a lot of, you know, because he has a plot to reduce, you know, the population, you know, the elite do, you know, of course, pursuing back to the Georgia Guidestones, which they blew up, or someone blew up, you know, to reduce the population to under 500, 500 million, okay? You know, they're different things, but, you know, whether it's law or not, you know, we know how he moves with the unrighteous decrees. All right. Psalms 93. Or Psalms 94 and like 19 or 17. I gotta remember it. This is Psalms 94:20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which framest mischief by law? Okay. The frame. Yatazar, We need to, what? I believe Yatazar is to go again, right? It's not working for some odd reason. And the mischief is pain. Okay, I'm not, so it's not working. I don't know why, but. Nah, that's Esau, man. Esau got control. He the prince of the power of the air, so the internet apparently ain't working. It looks like. You know, there we go. Imal goes back to pain. Basically, labor. Imal or pain when you trace it back. You know, you just gotta trace it back. You know, when you work, you're worn out. Alright, that's pain. Alright? But he frameth Yatazar. Alright, which Yatazar actually, Saki, means to be formed. Alright, basically, he made it up. Like, he formed it up. Okay? Like, that's gonna come from the inspiration of Satan. You know, that energia. Okay? Who's working as the coming of Satan, right? What's that? 2 Thessalonians? You know? For that mystery of iniquity, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he now will let until he be taken out of the way. Alright? A lot of people don't even know, you know, who the wicked are. The operative. Alright? What is it? I gotta get that scripture where it say, even him in verse 9, whose coming is after the working of Satan. Okay? When you usually go to working, is energia. Right? Which he get his power from the spiritual demon Satan. Right? Which that get his power from Yahweh Bashem Al Shai on the left hand side. Or Yahweh Shai on the left hand side, right? Okay? Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power in signs and lying wonders. Okay? So let's go back. You know, when you seeing this girl bug out, this is just Satan.
Immigration. Deporting American citizens to Central American prisons.
Look, she just smiled. She couldn't even. They don't care about you. You know?
Is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into. And he talked about this yesterday when with his meeting with President Bukele in the Oval Office. He would only consider this, if legal, for Americans who are the most violent, egregious, repeat offenders of crime who nobody in this room wants living in their communities.
And there's a lot of people that deem you,
nobody in this room,
as whatever ideology you follow, or especially being a so-called Negro Latino American, all right, or even if you're an Israelite foreigner, you know, hey, they don't want such and such in this country. They have these views and that. I don't like him. He's violent. You know, you might be somebody that apparently been violent in another country, but in America, you laying low. Well, you're still deemed as violent, okay? Because remember, the accuser of thy brethren, they're the accusers. They categorize you, all right? So, you know, hey, I don't want that person in my community. I go to my local state rep's office. I go to my state representative office. I let it be known. Can there be an investigation conducted? I don't feel safe. My kids are not safe in the community. You know, they can't go outside. You know, most of those people have been found doing grapes and seizing, you know, people and You know, under the Democrats, they've been letting people off. You know, they're sounding the alarm. And Donald Trump, you don't even have to listen to her himself. You know, you could probably check it out. He says, you homegrown criminals, he gonna send y'all to foreign prisons.
When continuing coverage this morning, President Donald Trump
Pardon
said
me.
he's working on sending American-born criminals to foreign prisons. Now this as the legal battle continues over a Maryland father who was wrongfully deported. ABC's Andrew Dimbert gives us the details on the meeting between Trump and the El Salvadorian president.
In a live stream broadcast from inside the Oval Office, President Trump can be heard telling El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele he wants to send American citizens convicted of crimes to prison in El Salvador, as Trump calls them homegrowns.
I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You gotta build about 5 more places. Yeah.
If he's not proud, I don't know who else is.
That's better. All right. It's not big enough.
Bukele has taken in hundreds of migrants deported from the U.S. accused of being gang members, sending them here to this mega prison called SECOD in exchange for millions of dollars.
Yeah, so, hey, money is being exchanged. Okay? We get these people out. We will give you money. We will give you aid. Okay? Hey, this is nothing but a, this is press too. And this also is happening.
Trump mentioning the idea again minutes later to reporters as he sat down with his cabinet, including Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Pam, I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws. But
Your Attorney General was a woman.
we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah, you do have that going on. Some wicked Israelites doing all these stupid things, terrorizing these cities and stuff.
When they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
Trump's
And because of that, like they say, the scriptures even tell you that the city shall be troubled, right? Second Ezra 16. I think it's 16. Yeah. Second Esdras chapter 15 and 18. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Okay? And hey, it's because of the pride. Okay, you got people that's proud to be, nations proud to be over here. I got it done, America. Yes, I'm lifted up. That's what the place is being troubled. Okay, because the Lord is going to revenge the pride in America and in these cities. All right, so Trump, he said he want to send homegrown criminals to foreign prisons. They don't care if you American or not. Hey, there's money that's being put on the table for somebody else in exchange.
says it would help with America's prison population, according to the
Yeah,
department.
most of your prisons are overgrown. All right, you got, prisons. They don't use the closet space to hold inmates. Spaces that were not used for that purpose. They hold mops and stuff. They put in, use that for storage. Now it's for people. So now, hey, you other countries got room for them. We will ship you over there. You over there, you don't even speak Spanish. Now you over there in a place where there's a whole nother country that you don't know, and you with a bunch of people that don't like you either.
Department of Justice. In 2022, there were more than 1.2 million people in prisons in the U.S. Trump's call to deport American criminals opens a trove of legal questions. Ultimately, whether Americans can be kicked out of their own country. Trump says sending criminals to El Salvador would save the U.S. money with what he calls
Look how this dude done showed it. And they showing it like, all right, all these people are just straight up gangsters. All right?
security.
We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's
This will build your economies.
if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem.
In a new interview,
So he don't care. You know? He don't care. So, you know, y'all watch out.
To follow up on immigration, deporting.
Check this. You got ICE running
Thursday at
around.
11, it is a story you'll only see right here on NBC 10.
Fair use warning on all this information, by the way. For educational and journalism purposes only.
A real estate attorney, an American citizen returning from Canada, says that he was detained without explanation. Thanks
Yeah, you want to go across the border, go to Canada? Okay.
for staying up with us tonight. I'm Priscilla Casper.
And I'm Colton Bradford. Now, that New Hampshire man says he was traveling back from a quick family trip on Sunday when this happened. He spoke exclusively.
So all that going across and traveling, a lot of that is coming to naught because you could get caught up in all of this.
To our Jericho Tran about his experience. Jericho's joining us live right now with what he had to say. Jericho.
Yeah, well, Bashir Attallah tells me that he has been a U.S. citizen for over 10 years. But on Sunday, he tells me he was not treated like a citizen at all.
I don't care if you were naturalized. That's what they're telling you. Permanent resident. We don't care about that status.
When U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents detained him and his wife for several hours with no explanation, all while Bashir was experiencing a medical emergency.
I drove my car to Canada for the weekend, and on the way back, I was treated like a criminal.
An unwelcome return home for Bashir Attallah and his wife Jessica.
God, like a Edomite, you know, from the outward. Like Arab, look like an Arab, you know, mingled people.
On Sunday, when they say Customs and Border Patrol officers stopped them at the border between Vermont and Canada.
He asked me, exit the vehicle right now, and he reached for his gun. I said, okay, I'm exiting the vehicle, keep your gun at your waist.
Just hours before, Attallah celebrated Palm Sunday with his family. Now, he was being arrested.
They handcuffed me. They twisted my arm.
It was like a shock for me.
A real estate attorney, Attallah says he's been an American citizen for over 10 years. He immediately started questioning why he was being detained.
He looked like an Asherite, you know. So-called, you know, from the areas of, what was that, Colombia, Uruguay, different areas. You know, you go to the tribe of Asher. You could just pull that up. Be great if I had a better one. Let me see something. Yeah, Colombia to Uruguay. Yep. Some territory. But yeah, man. It ain't like it was nothing. You know?
detained.
Even if you ask questions, they say we don't know, it's the government.
Atala started to feel sick and requested medical attention. This report, filled out by an EMS team, determined Atala was experiencing high blood pressure and was at risk for a stroke. They say Atala needed further medical attention, which he refused after he says Border Patrol agents explained what they would do next.
They're definitely going to escort me to the hospital
In another
and
country.
have an officer guard me and bring me back and start from zero.
Atala says CBP agents requested to look into his email on his phone, which he denied them access to because of attorney-client privilege.
So I had to, under duress, give him permission to look through my email, through my privileged information, and he made me write a statement signed by me saying that I gave him permission to look through the email.
After several requests, Atala says CBP agents called his sister Celine Atala, who is an immigration attorney.
It started with the immigrants. It's coming to us Americans, and it's gonna go after all of us.
After nearly 5 hours.
So you heard it. You heard it just like how the prophets, would you hear it first with us? They coming for all you American citizens. They don't care. All right? The target is the Lord. The Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is targeting and using his left hand, all right, on the wicked. All right? A sword is sharpened. Okay? So, now y'all sitting there and play around if you want. If you don't got that Tawah, hey. You know, hey. And you know there's going to be a testing of the elect too. You know, it's just that the Lord had his elect justified and protecting under him. You know. Ezekiel 21. It's Ezekiel chapter 21. It says here, again, in verse 8, again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, yeah, the word comes to the prophets from Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. It says, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord. Say, a sword is sharpened and is also furbished. Who is the sword? Esau, Edom. All right, go to, of course, Psalms, the 17th chapter. All right. 13. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right, go that back. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Shall we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. All right, and he has given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it in the hand of the slayer. The slayer is Esau, Edom. All right, that man has made vows to slay Jacob. All right, he cometh and bear the sword not in vain. That's your slayer, okay? This dude will cut your life down. Harag, going into kill, or to destroy, into ruin. By Barth in the Hebrew word for the English word kill there. All right. So again, let you hear from an immigration lawyer that he had to call him as a lawyer or attorney in real estate, had to call another friend to help him get out of this jam. Okay?
Was an immigration attorney.
It started with the immigrants. It's coming to us Americans.
It started with, they saying the immigrants are really the migrants, okay? Which they see you as animals. And now it's coming to you American citizens, okay? But we already gonna tell you it's coming for y'all. These different calamities were created for the wicked. All right? You know, to get you all caught up in the mix of this stuff. You know? So we just sit back and watch it unfold, you know. We don't go out of fear, a sudden fear, you know. It says, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 40:8. Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, and that is sevenfold more upon sinners. All right, so this is seven. This happens to these such things happen to all flesh, but there are sevenfold more upon sinners. Right? Death, bloodshed, strife. This is strife right here. Okay, and sword. Esau. Calamities. Oh man, I'm so stressed out. That's a calamity. I'm blood pressure up. I might have a stroke. Famine, tribulation, that pressure, and scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sake came the flood. All right, so these things are created for the wicked. Okay, you can get caught, but these things are created for the wicked. All right, so Jake got to get their mind right. Okay, the Lord is making do with His own word.
And it's gonna go after all of us.
After nearly
It's gonna come after all of us. So she even prophesied on herself.
5 hours, Atala says he and his wife were released. They are now pursuing legal action.
And we thought
Fight it in court. That's Esau.
things would change after this administration when we had Mr. Trump in office. Things would change to the better. Things
Nope.
actually changed to the worse.
That was exactly. So then you're saying the nightmare. He probably voted for Trump too himself, and now you're subject to what Trump is doing to you. So the red alert is there, and he's looked like he's appeared on other shows as well. Okay, so Yahweh Ratazah maybe covered in another lesson. That's it. That's all you need to know. Okay, British tourists being held at Tacoma ICE Detention Center. Okay, I can click that.
A backpacking trip turned nightmare. That's how one British father...
Yeah, you want to backpack, from Britain. You want to leave Great Britain, backpack, explore the world, you know, discover yourself, try out new foods, you know. All that is becoming a nightmare. Colombian student flees to Canada after ICE showed up at her door. So you got movement going on, you know. I show up, hey, I'm going to Canada, man. I gotta cross the border. I might get caught here in America. You can run, you can hide, but you can't escape going on.
Describes his daughter's trip to the U.S. after a visa mix-up at the border. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for the News at 10. I'm David Rose.
And I'm Sabir Rayford. That mix-up has landed the young woman in an ICE detention facility in Tacoma, where she still is tonight. Fox 13 reporter Nia Wong has been following this case. She's joining us from the newsroom with what we know so far.
Paul Burke says his daughter's current conditions at the Northwest Detention Center are deeply concerning, and she's been there for nearly 2 weeks. As they reach out to British leaders, they are asking for help in the States to help bring Becky back home.
Becky.
A desperate...
Her name, and they had the audacity. This is so funny. Her name is Becky. You know, for E.
Father in the United Kingdom opened this Facebook post on March 8th. Saying his daughter, Becky Burke, had been on a 4-month backpacking trip when she was detained by ICE on February 26th. The cartoonist had been sharing her adventures on her Instagram account, where she stayed in Portland, then Seattle, before heading up to the Canadian border.
Yeah, so she in America living it up. Britain, come over here, going up there. Then I'm going to go from America to Canada. Well, ICE will get your ass somewhere in America. Okay.
Paul Burke says she was denied entry into Canada due to an incorrect visa. And
hey, you can't go on these trips. Where's your paperwork? Your paperwork not right. You're not entering here, and we're going to detain you, and we're going to prosecute you. All right? Your visa work ain't right.
And when she tried to go back to the U.S., was refused re-entry and classified as a, quote, illegal alien.
There you go. You're now legal. We didn't give you a grant to go here backpacking and running around like you're doing. You're now legal. You can't go 4 months. Hey, we only gave you we only gave you about 90 days. We didn't give you that extra time. Okay? Check your visa. You came here on tourist purposes, and you stayed in the country of America longer than we granted you permission to stay there for. Now you are illegal. And I don't care if you're trying to leave the country of America, because you have stayed and beyond your visa, your permission. You're supposed to go back to your country of origin there, or go back to Britain, or get the hell out of there before that visa expired. They're now coming at you, and that's just straight up. All right. Understand what y'all doing, when you're traveling. Okay. These days is, like I say, the travel game. Like I said, all of that. Like I said, that's coming to naught. There's the days that the scriptures say how a man shall desire to enter a city and shall not be able to, is going to come to pass, because when they come in with that C-hip, okay? They come in with the C-hip, and with that, if you don't got the C-hip, you can't enter. And they're integrating this system perfectly with all the RFID technology, the NFC technology, updating real IDs, passports, etc. Okay, just for the system to track and to govern you tight, real time. Okay, where you thought, oh, nobody's checking on my status. Yes, we do have in the computer you entered on this date at this port of entry, this border. You entered to America. You stayed over 90 days. That expired. That visa, no. You only came for tourist purposes. You need a new visa. Okay? But you got to go home. But you should have went home before it expired. We're going to punish you.
Is very heavy-handed.
Abdin Bahadur is an attorney for Ryan Swanson in Cleveland in Seattle.
The immigration laws are not something to ask forgiveness for later.
Burke's father says she was on a tourist visa and her social media.
See, I don't have to look into this stuff. I mean, like I say, the scriptures even tell you this, which you should look into that. But I'm just saying, learn from, for brothers that's not experienced. We letting y'all know that too. It tells you this. Ecclesiastes chapter 34:1, or 34:9. It says, a man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. Now, I never got caught up, but I, of course, inform myself as much as possible before I go anywhere. Okay? Because you definitely don't want to get caught up with anything abroad in another country. The laws ain't really going to work in your favor. Now you run into the Canadian embassy. No. The American government got you right now. Okay? It says, he that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence. So, being traveled, went through things, we can explain. Okay? So, like I said, I was through the Spirit able to already know what the hell she already did wrong. But she just being Becky Burke, she thinking she could just go around. The scriptures tell you that she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. She just exploring the world, backpacking. Okay, in America, but don't understand the laws. Oh, I'll get away with it. Well, you don't understand that the hit is on you now. The curse is falling on you now, too. Okay? I don't care if you're from Great Britain. They coming at you. Draconian laws are on.
The account shows she participated in Workaway.
And you played on Workaway? To be in Workaway, you gotta get a visa. A work visa. You have to get granted permission for that. Ooh. But they was able to make me work abroad. And I was able to get some money and get paid, and nah. Yeah, you're in a bigger problem.
A cultural exchange, according to the Workaway website, that expects participants to help around 5 hours per day in exchange for food and accommodation.
Yeah, but you have to be granted by the U.S. government permission to work in this place. All right? On a work visa. You came on tourist reasons. Okay, and tourist purposes, which doesn't grant you the reason to work legally here. Okay? Stupid.
It's confirmed Burke is still being held at the Northwest ICE Processing Center related to the violation of the terms and conditions of her admission.
Exactly. That's how I already done explained it. You entered the country based on that. Simple as that. You came as a tourist. You worked. You know, you have to have a work visa. Hey, we're detaining you. We see what you was doing. We got proof. Hey, these are charges. Hey, and you messing with that you're just wasting your time. You know, you're wasting your time. You're wasting the amount of things you can subject yourself being detained in these different immigration cells or immigration holding facilities. It's a waste of time. Okay? And it's a lot of waste of money. Okay? You're going to get, look, they making news stories on you.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection says it can't discuss specific cases, only saying on background, quote, individuals who travel to the U.S. under the visa waiver program are not allowed to work for any type of compensation. That includes work in exchange for room and board.
There you go.
While Bahadur says it is the responsibility of the traveler to know the rules.
Exactly. So be smart. Hey, be smart. Be prudent.
Agency could definitely show more compassion, more grace.
Bahadur
They ain't gonna give you no grace. The time of grace is running up. Okay?
Also been the liaison.
The devil coming, right? He coming with great wrath because he knows he got but a short time. Okay? You had a grace by you coming into the damn country as a tourist from the British Empire. In America, this is how we doing it. Okay? Because in the end, like I say, they're coming at everybody. They want to charge everybody. Okay? Except for themselves, elite.
With Customs and Border Protection for Washington State with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. In his 5 years of holding the position, he believes that CBP officers could have made another choice.
If the CBP officer, the Customs and
Slap on the wrist you want.
Border Protection officer at the border had wanted to, they could have probably arranged it to say, you know what, do you have the financial ability to buy a plane ticket home? Okay. There's tons of flights every day out of SeaTac to Europe. They could have just played.
They would have demanded her to go right then and there. Okay, but they didn't pursue that option. There's no more grace for you.
Placed her on that plane, let her go home, and let her voluntarily depart from the United States.
Exactly. We already know about this. You know? Voluntary departure, nah, but we're going to have you there. In detention.
United States.
Fox 13 has reached out.
Don't waste your time, okay? You know, I want to kind of go on this up more, man. This is great.
Donald Trump's Homeland Security Secretary calls you a terrorist sympathizer. When you hear that, what do you think?
Well, I'm not a terrorist sympathizer, so I just find it kind of absurd.
So, like I said, the scriptures speaking. You know, Isaiah 32, you know. Hey, this place is being troubled. All right, you people are here. America. We're okay? You can read that at another time. I'm not going to go through it, but, You know, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days, this is 32 and 10 now. In years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the venture shall fail, and the gather shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Okay. America is going down, and with it, you're being joined to it, you will go down as well. All right, because this place is not the place that you thought it was. All right, this is a place of unpleasantness. All right, for bitterness. All right, as America, Margot, goes into. Okay, or Marah, I go into being bitter. Or marar in the Hebrew. So y'all coming over here, hey, it's either for your destruction, all right, which this will destructure you. Now you caught up with the system. You may not be able to travel, re-enter to America for a set amount of time. That destroys your backpacking dreams. You're traumatized. You may not even want to travel anymore. Now you're a prisoner in your own country back when you get to, finally, if you get back there. Because they might send you to another country now. You know? To El Salvador or somewhere. Because you're a criminal. Okay? Oh, yeah, we reserve that for the most violent. You come out a story, oh, you was shipped over with the rest of them. Just pile them up and send them out of there. But I'm not violent. Hey, they do that all the time. So, hey, that's the lesson through the spirit. Look out. Hey, you see how they laughing and joking. Trump says he support deporting the U.S. citizens. Hey, they coming at all types of citizens or non-citizens, non-national. You in here. Hey, we get an opportunity, we will get you. You'll be detained. Hey, and hey, you'll be prosecuted. Shalom TV like.